I'm Glen. I work at Start Me Up Niagara. I serve the vulnerable public, the homeless, mentally ill, and people suffering from addiction. Last Wednesday, it's something they do every week, twice a week usually. They just try and move the encampments along. Taxpayers feel threatened when they walk by. They're uncomfortable walking by, seeing people displaced, being homeless.
That answers my next question. My next question was how often do these removals happen? So the weekly?
Twice a week.
Twice a week, okay.
Twice a week usually.
When I drive up and down Gale Crescent, this street we're on, I see a lot of participants needing to sleep on mats since the raid, right? Because basically everything was taken from them. Yesterday it was well into the 30s, right? This week has been pretty hot.
Yeah.
What are some of the dangers for these individuals when it reaches 30 degrees and they have nothing left?
Can you repeat that last part?
Yeah, what are some of the dangers when they have nothing left, it's high heat, and
they could stroke out, heat stroke.
Yeah.
They're exposed to the elements. There's definitely not enough water. There's not enough service provider other than Start Me Up. I think that's why they're here, because they feel safe. All their services are here. They know they can be fed here. They get their water here. They can use the washrooms. They have toiletries here. There's partnering agencies. Mental health is here.
So this is a hub. This is why they want to be located here.
They can. All their needs are in one location.
So it's important that they stay close by. I was talking to Cheryl on camera, so it'll be included with this, and she was saying the reason why she and many others stay here is because A, this is where their friends are, and B, this is where the services are, and it makes it a lot easier by being in this neighborhood as opposed to having to hoof it 30 minutes or more every day to be here by a certain time.
That's right. Everything they need is here, definitely, and they feel safe. They're on camera. If anything happens, we can dial up the security and see if there's an assault, if there's a theft, which there's a lot of around here. They feel protected being in front of our building.
Yeah, this definitely, it's a sense of security. It's a safety blanket, and it's the only thing that can't be taken away, right?
Right.
City of St. Catharines may be ordering these removals with the Niagara Regional Police assisting, but I've read that the city has hired a private contractor to carry out the removals. Is this true?
That's correct.
And why does this present a problem for your participants? The City of St. Catharines may be ordering these removals,
right,
with the Niagara Regional Police assisting. But I've read that the city has actually hired out a private company to have these removals carried out. Why is this a problem for the participants?
The contractors who are hired, they're just young kids. They have no empathy training. They don't know the background of the people who are living on here. They don't realize what they're taking is everything that people own, from their children's ashes to their mother's jewelry. There's not much concern about where the stuff goes. It just goes to a landfill. That's everything people own.
And they usually don't have much notice, right? Like they just come by at like half an hour, get your stuff and go.
They get about a half an hour notice, pack your stuff, it's time to go. What's not picked up is thrown out.
What are the motives behind these removals?
Well, there's housing for people. So now that there's housing, these people think they can move them along. Unfortunately, they won't fit in the box that they provide.
What is that box?
Drug use, alcohol use, a curfew, company.
So are the rules too rigid to allow them to kind of adjust to this, the temporary housing that they're provided?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want to live under someone else's rules.
Especially so strict rules, right?
Strict rules,
Yeah.
high barriers. It's a challenge because they rely on their, they rely on their narcotics to keep them from being sick. They rely on their friends to protect them. Their friends can't go with them. They don't have the drugs to take with them. It's Morning, Ozzy. Good morning, Ozzy.
David Oakes, the CAO, the Chief Administrator Officer of the city, says we don't move people when there are no shelter spaces available. We understand it's their choice, but the services are there. Is this true? And are there enough beds for everybody that wants one?
From what I understand, there's 25 beds available. I don't know how high this barrier is of the shelter that they have available. There's more than 25 people homeless that I can name. Between here and Oakdale Avenue, we would fill those beds. Those beds would be filled up.
To your knowledge, has David Oakes, the city's CAO, ever come down here and met with the participants, talked to any of them?
I've never met him yet.
Never met him yet. Does anybody from the city's management come down here, or is it just the maintenance workers and those sorts?
I've never met any white-collared city workers yet. They come down here. About a dozen people who are contracted, and I guess there is a supervisor, but the supervisor stays behind the scene. From what I've seen, I've never met him yet.
So they don't really have an idea. They're just reading reports from their home offices and
yeah.
Okay. This most recent removal by the city and their private contractors happened during the middle of the month. Why is this particularly devastating for these individuals?
They're usually broke by the middle of the month. They rely on the resources that come in the first of the month, the last week of the month. There's not much money available.
Yeah.
They don't get shelter. They don't get provided shelter allowance. So they get basic needs, basically, which is a couple $100. That's enough to get them through. They can buy their basic needs, their toiletries, a little bit of food, maybe some clothing. As far as shelter goes, unless they have an address, OW or ODSP won't provide them enough money for shelter.
Last question. On social media, you've asked for donations to be made through you on behalf of these individuals. What is needed the most, and how can they get a hold of you?
Sleeping equipment, tents, tarps, seasonal clothing. How can I be reached? Glen Rice 123buddy@gmail.com or grice@startmeupniagara.ca or 289-668-0917.
Thank you. If the Jim Bradley, if Walter Sendzik, if any of these people are watching this, what message would you have for them?
Be patient. Be patient with the people living out here. They don't got much. They don't have much wits left to them. Their money's running out. Their tarps, their tents were taken. They're living with less than basic needs. Have some empathy. Put yourself in their position. Imagine your children in their position, your brothers and sisters, your family members, people you love. Imagine them being displaced, suffering from mental health addictions or homelessness. Put yourself in their position. How would you feel?
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.